Okay, we got a little bit of a project here. We need to remove the cap and the draw system from my 2018 Silverado. And I have no one to do it with. So my plan is to, here's my plan. I'm going to tell you what my plan is right now. Will it work? I'm not sure. We're going to find out. My plan is to take this 2x8, which is longer than 4 feet. So it's about 50 inches. And we're going to screw it to the ceiling. So we're going to catch 1, 2, 3, 4 braces. We're going to use like 4-inch super crazy heavy duty screws. And we're going to stand on the tailgate. That's how I'm going to get to it. The ceiling's 10 feet tall. I wish it was 12, but it's 10. The reason I wish it was 12 is then I get a lift, but you can't put a lift in a 10-foot ceiling garage. And we're going to back the car up, and I'm going to use some old anchor rope to tie it off 4 posts, exit, come up to a loop that's attached to the 2x8, and hopefully yank it and probably tie it off to the boat. Maybe. I don't know where else I would tie it. I'll probably tie it off to the boat. Hopefully the boat doesn't swivel on me. Maybe we'll tie it off to that area where it can't swivel. So that's my plan. Let's get started. Well, things have already gotten interesting because I don't have 4-inch screws. Well, I have 3 4-inch screws. These are 3.5. I mean, I think you can do the math here. We got 1.5 inches, well, 1 5/8 inches. And then we got 1/2-inch sheetrock. It's 2 1/8, which means we're only going to have 1 3/8 inches. So let's see what happens anyway. We got to keep on going here. This is what I'm using. Now, clearly, if I used it like this, we would probably have an issue. I'm going to use it in here, and I guess to ensure that I use it in here is I'm just going to put this, somehow I'm going to bend this thing. I haven't figured that part out yet. I don't think my vise opens up that much. Maybe I could just whack it with a hammer. But we're going to close this thing up so that when it's sitting in, we only have 1 problem to worry about. 2 problems would be this bending and there's pull-out. So if I bend this all the way up, we're only going to have to worry about pull-out. And I think that this top being, I mean, it can't be more than 200 pounds. It's got to be 150, 200 pounds. I don't see why this would pull out. Yeah, feels pretty solid. So we are going to pick it up from these. There's a little bit of an issue here. I'm just now noticing this. It's not all the way through, but it's definitely, if we pull from this, it's going to open up. Interesting. So if we pull from this side, we should be okay. We got to pull from this side, which should transfer most of the weight to here, and even if something were to happen here, there shouldn't be a problem. It looks like this is where I know what happened here. This is where my rod rack was. The connection from the rod rack, you do it too tight. This is just chintzy aluminum. Also, I'm not sure if I haven't mentioned this. This is an old top for sure, but I bought it for $50. It's watertight. The windows work, and they have the screens in them, both sides. I just replaced the struts and the lock, and it was $50. I gave the guy $60, so he'd help me put it on. Even came with these right there, 3 on either side to attach it. If you can hear me, those things alone are like $100. So yeah, $50. I gave him $60. Gave him $10. Maybe I should call him up and ask him if he wants another $10. Okay, so here's what I got. Now this is all detached now, clearly. As you can see, this thing moves. It moves very easily too because there's tension on it. I got it wrapped around all four corners. I started it here. And it's hard to tell, but I have it going through. Whew, this thing is barely touching the truck right now, so just leaning on it, it moves. It goes through there, it gets wrapped around, it goes through here, it gets wrapped around, it goes across, it goes through. It's hard to tell, but it gets wrapped around. And then I have it coming around here, up, and I made a knot here, if you can see that. And that's what I have it hooked onto there. And then I use the tag end to loop through. You can see it right here. And we pulled it all the way down tight, and we tied it off to we viced it off. And this thing right now is, you can move it with your hand. Now, the idea here is that you're not going to try and lift it off, because you just, without a pulley system, there's no way to really lift it off. But you can get it to basically where it's off. I mean, I could push this thing right off the truck if I wanted to right now. Clearly, you can't because it's hooked up. So what we're going to do is we're going to drive forward, and we're going to pray. We're going to pray that this thing holds, this whole deal we got going on holds this thing, which I feel like it should. It only needs to hold it for a minute. I'm going to pull forward right out of the garage, jump out, unhook it, and then lower it down. And just to make something clear is that I'm not using this top. So if it doesn't survive, okay. But, you know, that's not a big deal. If it survives, that's like a little bit of a bonus, I guess. But I'm not looking for a bonus. I'm looking to actually get this thing off because I feel like, you know, just one more thing that I've done by myself. Which, if you watch any of my videos, I do a lot of stuff by myself. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's pull forward. I'm going to give you a good look here. I told you this thing was loose. So, yeah, well, the one thing we got to be careful of is the back windshield on the truck. So, we got to get this thing off here now. So we're off. I mean, I just lifted it up a hair just to make sure it was tight and stuff, but it just fell right off. All right, let's do this. Rearview mirror. This worked a lot better than I thought. What's going on here is that, the weight of it is pulling the loop that I have around the hook. It's pulling that tight. It's through that, it's pulling it tight. So what's happening is it's causing friction, which is, I mean, I can look at it. Look, I'm not even holding it, and it's holding because of friction. You get an idea. Okay. So the issue is that this is tight. So technically, all we got to do is so I didn't leave enough slack. Let me show you where it cracked. Which, right in the beginning, I mean, I said it's probably going to crack, or it might crack. And it looks like this is the only piece holding on. So it's a good thing I put it on this side, because it gave it pull strength this way. And that's it. This one held together on this side, but obviously it wasn't, you know, it just didn't have the angle, I guess. It's the only thing I can think of. I don't know, it held together. It gave way on that side though. Now, to get this thing out of here. That is a conundrum.